Good afternoon, Speed Gaming. Welcome to A Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 3. My name is Tracy M. With me today is WinFox. How are you doing, WinFox?
I am doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. We have a really interesting race going on that's going to happen. We have mooglecharm and eddaump on the Double Dippers versus azder and Hitaka on Shack Tools Digging Game. Interesting enough, this is the debut of Shack Tools Digging Game. They are a new entry into the Randomizer League. Moved straight into the Invitational because, you get a team of azder, Aussie, and Hitaka, 3 veteran SMZ3 runners. In fact, azder and Aussie, I would venture to say, are the 2 best SMZ3 players in the world. Aussie having won the Spoil Log tournament, azder puts in very good showings all the time. In fact, was second place in the SG Live qualifiers last year. It didn't do as well this year, but things happen. It is Randomizer. And Hitaka, no slouch in his own right. Also a very good player. Surprise. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, azder actually a former world record holder in the low percent NMG category, so definitely top end execution we're definitely going to see from azder today.
All right, we do see the top runners going and checking out Hyrule Castle and doing the Uncle Start. In the bottom, Hitaka and Ed are going to check out the Lumberjack area, and we'll see. Unfortunately, we'll have to fix Ed's cropping a little bit, but that'll get taken care of.
Yeah, it's unusual to see. Well, I've been noticing a lot of players will start off actually going to the back of Sahasrar's closet instead of Uncle. It's kind of a new meta, but we do have Bombos and the Ocker and the Flute there in the Uncle Start. So 2 great items there off at the start.
Yeah, the Saha start came out of the boots, the boot start on the SG Live. So I don't think we're going to see as much of that in the league here. Okay, Hitaka saving and quitting, probably just going to go get that flute right away so he can activate it right away in when he gets over to Kakariko. Meanwhile, Moogle and azder going ahead and going back to Sanctuary. They have that flute to activate, and we see pendants, Green Pendant Desert, Pendant Hera, and Crystal Eastern. Although this is all dungeons, we should mention. These are co-op races. This is all dungeons. That means all 10 dungeons, plus we have to kill Aga 1 and Aga 2. So the meaning of the pendants versus the crystals kind of lose something a little bit. In fact, getting your pendants done, if there's something on ped, maybe a little more of a priority.
Yeah, really the only crystals and pendants we're going to be on the lookout for is that green pendant and the 5-6 crystals. Those are really the ones that'll give us any sort of maybe progression throughout the seed if we need to find an item in the pyramid or on the green pendant turn in, and ped as well. And mooglecharm activating that flute. I'm going to start seeing all these checks with the Kakariko checks there, with Blind's Hut.
You see Hitaka going from bottom to top, and as you're going from top to bottom, it looks like we're seeing the same thing on Moogle's and Ed's side.
And I believe that was one of our progressive gloves there in the front of Blind's Hut there.
Certainly one of those key items that we're looking for. And race game with another glove, so we're already going to be... Yeah, we're going to be 2/3 Dark World Axis, although it's kind of the bad Dark World Axis. We really do like to have a glove and a hammer for early Dark World Axis.
Yeah, you tend to get more checks going through the Hype Cave into the Stumpy checks. Get about 3 or 4 more checks that way. We're going to see Cackwell checks now.
Yeah, it's not even just that. It's just that east side of the Dark World just is not easily accessible until you have the hammer or at least flippers, or otherwise you have to either sequence break or do Aga, which at this point normally in a non all dungeon seed you'd probably just sequence break and do a current jump or something, but in all dungeons if you have the access to Aga you maybe just do it because you have to do it eventually anyway.
Yeah, and we do see that lamp in the back of Cackwell, so no dark rooms for us this seed, unfortunately. Those are always kind of fun to see at the top level.
Well, we don't get to see them because it's dark. So I'm happy to see the runners getting the lamp.
Touche, Tracy.
But yeah, I think that's kind of our main fight. We got our gloves, and oh, there's a moon pearl in the tavern. So that is our Dark World Axis. They could go right now if they wanted to. Again, it'd be the kind of the crappy Dark World Axis, and of course, Thieves Town always a gamble a bit because of that big chest. If you don't have the hammer, so we'll see if the runners choose to go in there or not.
Yeah, without any sort of weapon, we may see just the front four of Thieves Town once they work their way there, and then probably work their way back at some point once they get a damage source like the cane or hammer or sword.
Yeah, I could definitely see, with the co-op going on, one runner could go straight into the Dark World. Maybe the other runner goes over to South Shore and does like the checks over in that area, the mini Moldorm Cave and such.
Well, since we now have both gloves and the Moon Pearl, that Mire play looks very, very good right now. Usually when you get this combination of early items, usually that is your next play.
Yeah, I mean, at least you can see what medallion you need. You can check the shed. They can't actually go in yet because even if the bombos opens it up, you need either boots or a hook shot to get in. So, it'd just be more of a scouting at this point.
Yeah. And we see all of our runners kind of just doing each other's checks there in Kakariko. We'll be syncing up here in just a moment. But yeah, all these players, they are on a voice call together, with Moogle and Ed on a call together, talking to each other, and Azder and Hitaka on a call separately. So we're going to see them...
I'd hope it'd be separate.
Yeah, right? But they're going to be kind of sharing info back and forth, so we're going to see both runners trying to split up their checks as much as possible to maximize efficiency, to route this as fast as possible.
And there we see Azder is going to go ahead and check the Mire area.
And Moogle's heading into Village of Outcasts, so... And we have our 5/6s in Thieves Town and Palace of Darkness, and that last pendant is going to be in Skull Woods.
And it's quick to get into Mire. Yeah, and we can't get into... It doesn't matter. No sword to use the medallion. No hookshot or boots to get in beyond that.
Yeah.
But definitely good knowledge to have. And it's a pretty quick check. Oh, a nice armor upgrade there for Azder. Looks like he's using the hat color link sprite there. A little unusual. Yeah. He usually likes to use the, I believe it's the, there's a particular ROM hack that I'm blanking on the name. A Polar Bear Bunny will know if the sprite he usually uses. So a little bit of a surprise to me, but... Hitaka is also going to get that mail upgrade. Looks like Azder's going to go ahead and check the Dark World. We'll see if Hitaka goes and does South Shore.
Yeah, Polar Bear Bunny in chat saying it's the Parallel Worlds.
Parallel Worlds. Thank you, Bunny. Okay, we're going to get some new checks over here on Moogle's side, entering into Thieves Town. And we start with just some arrows.
And as they're checking the front of Skull Woods, only 2 items here. Could probably check a bit more if you went into the South Dark World, but could come up big here. As Ed's going up the mountain to do the mountain checks.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can check in the mountain right now. Hitaka, yeah, all our runners in different spots right now. Hitaka doing the South Shore checks. Not a whole lot Ed's gonna be able to find over here without any way to get to the east side. No mirror, no hook shot. But it is a save and quit spot, which is nice. And there are a couple of checks he can do, and I suspect will.
Yeah, the Uncle turn in, just the 2 on Spectacle Rock.
It's a heart container. Yeah, that's the first heart container. No, second heart container. Azder has one that he got at some point.
Yeah.
And Azder taking a death warp. Probably a little faster than waiting for the hand. Especially on low health. Nothing more he can do here. Actually, he can do one more check. He can do the middle check.
Yeah. Mooglecharm walking out of Thieves Town instead of taking the Death Warp. A little bit faster to take a Death Warp there.
Okay, let's see what Mini Moldorm has for us. A bottle. Ether. Oh, Moogle with a sword. Bug net. Flippers. And bombs. Actually, it's a pretty good Mini Moldorm cave there.
Yeah, the flippers will probably send them right up to those Zora checks.
Nah, not with this money. Only 360. Maybe he checks Hobo or something.
Yeah.
I can't. I personally am not a big fan of going to the Zora area unless you can at least see everything. He does have a glove. He could farm, and maybe in a co-op situation that might be worth it. Okay,
Yeah,
Moogle with the dig game.
Yeah, it's only 3 trips into that Thieves' Cave next to Desert, so debatable if it's worth it or not. Depends on what
Nah,
you
no.
find.
If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it right here. Because even though it's more going back and forth. You don't have to walk all the way to the cave. So he already opened up the rock. I think he is gonna do a little bit of farming.
Yeah, and decides not to.
Okay, just peace heart the dig game. Ed's gonna find his goodies over here at Mini Moldorm.
Alright, so each player kind of dip in dungeons. Didn't find much in any of the dungeons, so we're gonna head back and do some more overworld checks, it looks like.
Okay, Hitaka going to the back of Escape. Ed a little bit closer to that Zora money, but not quite there at 404. It always feels like the money is stingy when the flippers are early.
Yeah, it always seems to be a case. Doesn't matter what's.
Oh,
ooh, we have the hammer.
That hammer. Okay, I wonder if Azder's gonna drop what he's doing right now and go get that. Just for the Thieves Town play.
We're probably gonna see Hitaka here. Probably go to that hype cave and Stumpy checks.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably work his way up to. My guess would be Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, he's got a bottle of red, so he could use that to sequence break it. The progressive bow that was added a little more than a year ago makes the sequence breaking that a little bit more profitable. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a progressive bow behind the bow lock side of pod. It is not uncommon.
Yeah, bowlock bows. Yeah, it happens more frequently than people think it does.
It happens more frequently than it should.
Yes.
Okay, we got the double hype cave check. So far, a blue cane is pretty much our best item there.
Alright, so besides the blue cane, it's the anti-hype cave today.
Yeah, well, I always like to call it the hype cave because hype doesn't always live up in any situation. I mean, how many hyped up Super Bowls have been really that great,
That's true.
Okay, let's see what Hitaka decides to do now. Now we're gonna get our first sick kid check on for our Moogle. So he also has the Smith with him, so it'll be interesting to see if there's anything there.
That's actually a really good call, especially with the early Titan Smiths. Able to grab that Smith and turn it in fairly early. It might be the right play. It often sets him up for purple chest later if need be.
And as long as you're not planning on going into a dungeon, because the Smith will not follow you into a dungeon. Now let's see what we got. Okay, Hitaka now has enough money. He's going to do all the flippers checks. Looks like he's going to start with the hobo and then go work his way back down to the little portal there.
I don't think we've seen Lake Hylia yet, have we? The island check.
I don't believe we have. As you're picking up the Smith as well. Did not actually see what Moogle got out of that.
And the hobo just having a piece of heart.
Yeah.
Hitaka with a pretty heads-up play there. After finishing hobo, floating back to the 8 spot. Most players, they actually tend to just swim back down to the portal. It's actually way faster to float back to 8.
Oh, for sure.
Save yourself an easy 20 seconds.
Okay, and we'll get our first look over at the Zora area. And more money. So if he'd gone, he would have been he'd have been fine. You can never count on that, of course. So as you're dragging the Smith down to the back of Escape, gonna get his hammer.
So I think depending on what Zora has for us here, we may see azder maybe going to Thieves Town, but doesn't look like. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna.
But he's got to turn that Smith in before he can do anything else.
I mean,
or anything dungeon-wise.
Yeah.
Ed's our Thieves Town checker-upper.
Yep.
Weird that neither Moogle nor Ed has checked the back of Escape, unfortunately not having that hammer. And Zora with a sword.
That is our second sword of the
That's our
sea.
second sword.
So no looking for swords in GT today.
No, I mean, it's all dungeons. The odds of not finding a third sword, or even a fourth sword, is pretty. I mean, I guess at some point you're go moding and you're probably not checking much anyway. And all of these runners are more than capable of doing Master Sword Ganon if needs be.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see Ed finish up Thieves Town here. Still don't have the hammer, so if Blind Cell has that small key and Blind has that map or compass, it's gonna be in the back of his head the rest of the seed if there's a progressive item in that big chest.
Yeah, a little surprise. I mean, it could be worse with this being co-op if they can manage to make sure that Moogle goes in there with the hammer, then they'll find out what's in there and they won't have to worry about it. And that means Ed goes back in if it's something useful or I should say something needed.
All right.
Useful is not going to be enough to go back for it.
Moogle gonna go to the back of his heap, get that hammer and relay that information to Ed, as we see azder doing hammer pegs the very, very slow way.
Yeah, it always feels bad not to have boots here. And just 20 rupees. Okay, Double Dippers now know where their hammer is.
Now they're probably really hoping that that Ed doesn't find that small key here in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, oh for sure. Ed being very cautious. This is, it's a very dangerous. Does find the compass, so they're safe. The small keys in the big chest.
Azder doing purple chest.
Yeah, for 20 rupees.
It's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to split things up as best they can. Looks like we're going to get an eastern area check from Azder while Hitaka does the Thieves Town play.
And I would assume mooglecharm's probably going to follow Azder over there to the eastern area. For a second I thought I was going to do front of Escape, but doesn't look like it. Changing his mind.
Yeah, I don't think we've got anything over here in Thieves Town. So it might be that some of the runners might, the ones that don't do it right away might put it off. Thieves Town, though, not a great go mode dungeon. Oh, and Ed. Oh, oh, he's got a fairy. That's right, they did pick up a fairy.
Yes. That second
but
bottle.
This is still very unsafe. They haven't gotten their armor upgrade. He can take 2 hits from blind. 3 from the... No, you can take 1 hit from that.
1 hit, yeah.
And then 3 from the fireballs. So pretty dangerous still. And completely off script.
Using pause buffer strats here to finish this fight off. Using 4 heart green mail.
Why not?
Very dangerous for this fight.
Oh, very, very dangerous. And he's going to pop that potion.
Yep. And immediately takes a hit after popping that potion, but does get the kill.
Yep.
Very scary.
That was very scary, very rough, but he got through it.
And Ed draws first blood in the dungeon clearing here with the blind kill.
Okay, Azder, meantime, I'm going to go get his Zora sword. Yeah, Polar Bear Bunny make a good point in chat with that blue cane. If Hitaka gets into trouble, he's got 1 extra heart anyway, but that blue cane just wastes blind. Of course, he's only got a little bit of magic, so he's not going to have it for very much. And there's not a lot of magic pickups in this dungeon, so unless he gets a drop, it's actually not going to help him as much as... it may not help him as much as he'd like. Okay, Azder picks up his second sword.
As we see mooglecharm heading over to Palace of Darkness, we'll more than likely see that potion glitch to get to the Bowlock side.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get the same play from Azder here. He's going into the Dark World. It's not a great. This is one of those checks you don't like to have to do. This pod check. No mirror, no bow.
Yeah, it's just it's
It's slow.
very
It's annoying.
slow. No boots on top of that, and it's a
Yeah.
a lot of straight lines in this dungeon. So, well, we're not bow locked for now.
Yeah, and of course, there's two ways that these runners can do this. They could just check all the do as much as they can not bow locked, and then switch over to the to do the bottle glitch to get through, or they could just choose to bottle glitch right away. At this point, we're still not yet bow locked. We have one more check that we can do in logic.
Yeah.
And Moogle's gonna fall down and do that right now. And no surprise, it's a small key. The front 6 has to have at least 4 small keys. So we've already seen one non-small key, so that means the odds of that one not being a small key was pretty low.
Yeah, if we get 2 keys here on the bow lock side, then he will, something 99% likely checking that vanilla big key chest.
Well, that and it also means that the entire rest of the dungeon is bow locked.
And Moogle getting that potion glitch here to get those mimics off the screen. The game thinks they are dead if they're not on the screen with the shifting the camera with the potion active. Glitches the camera out a tiny bit to let him pull that off.
Azder looks like he's going to do the exact same thing. Small key. And honestly, you want to find a not small key here. Yeah, that's perfect.
And
now you can skip. Yeah, you can completely skip the big key chest because now that has to be a key for a key. So no reason to go there. Meanwhile, Hitaka in his blind fight. Looks like he was staying on script a little bit better. Should be okay to finish this off. He also has a bit extra armor, so he can take an extra hit.
And with only
Azder, I don't know if he messed up the potion glitch or if he just didn't have that red potion yet. Actually, he may not have it yet, so he's just going to go ahead and mimic clip.
Yeah, slightly slower, but pretty impressive. And if you know that, it's pretty impressive. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's actually a strat he actually learned pretty recently and has been employing pretty well since then. So
yeah, it's a good one to practice. I don't know it. I still need to learn it.
okay, and as we find more small keys in pod because there are 6 of them.
Yes.
Now Moogle deciding to farm up all the rupees here.
And Hitaka, we're finally going to see that front of escape. 22 minutes in, 22 and a half minutes in, we're finally going to see that check.
That's not that late. I've seen much later front of escape checks.
I've seen like hour 20.
Yeah, exactly. So far, we haven't seen much in pod, though, from Moogle.
Yeah, we only have these 2 checks left before Helmasaur King. So unless we find a bow in here, we're going to have to go somewhere else.
And no bow, so nope.
Pod empty today.
Yeah, Azder's really struggling with this glitch. It looks like he's getting it in there, and then just it's not quite working for him. We'll see how much longer he chooses to stay with it. He doesn't know it, but he'd be better off giving up on it just because we've seen the rest of the dungeon, but he doesn't know.
Yeah. Ed doing his Zora checks, going to get that Master Sword. We're running out of checks here. We've seen Skullwoods, we've seen Thieves Town.
We have not seen Eastern yet.
We have not seen Eastern or the back of Sahasrah's closet. So we still have 6 checks besides front of escape left. Moogle going to Meyer just to get that blue mail, and then saving quitting. I don't know if time-wise, that may be a tiny bit of time waste. You could have been doing other checks instead of getting that blue mail.
Yeah, but when you have the extra safety, then it makes everything a little bit faster. You don't have to be quite as cautious. So I like the choice to go get that. It's a pretty quick pickup. Azure finally gets through the mimic clip and is going to find nothing in pod. And let's see where Hitaka heads. Hitaka also heading back to the castle. Did he not do Dark Cross earlier?
He didn't do it, but Dark Cross was just 10 arrows. I believe we saw either Moogle or Ed do it earlier, and it wasn't anything important.
Oh, did they do it from the back? Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, looks like Ed's heading over towards the eastern area. At this point, and Moogle decides to go into Ice Palace with that Bombos. I like the way that Ed and Moogle are splitting these up right now.
I actually really like this call.
It's not a nice Ice Palace. We don't have the Cane of Samario for the Icebreaker. We have only a Master Sword, only Bombos. I mean, it's going to be a tough cold stare fight, but it is 3 items. It is in logic. I mean, it's completely doable. So, and it's not that it's we've had Ice Palaces where you don't get to use the cane because the cane's there or behind something in there.
I mean, no Icebreaker. It's going to be a bit longer. We're going to see the Ice Palace bomb jump, which you rarely see in Randomizer anymore.
And actually, I take it back. This could be, we don't have a hook shot, so this could be hook locked. That early small key will at least make it so that even if it's in actuality hook locked, it'll be very easy to break around that.
Yeah, I would just do the bomb jump in freeze orb room to get past all of that.
No, you don't even need. Oh, in the freezer room. No, you don't need. You don't. No. The bomb jump you would use to break it would be the one in the room with the red jellies. But with the small key, you don't need to worry about that because you have a key to get through it.
That's right.
And this is where I do my my PSA to always still learn your bomb jumps, your Ice Palace bomb jump, because you don't always have Icebreaker available. And nice magic drops from Moogle there. I do believe he might have a green potion. I know I saw Ed throw a bottle into the Waterfall Fairy Cave and get a green potion. I don't know if Moogle did the same.
As we see Ed in Eastern Palace here. These are new checks. So we're pretty much down to Ice Palace and Eastern for our progression right now.
Mm-hmm. As you're gonna go get his goodies over here at Mini Moldorm Cave finally.
Chat confirming that Moogle does have a blue potion as well.
Okay, so yeah, he'll be fine.
Oh, he's safe for pretty much the rest of this dungeon. Even on Cold Stare, he should be fine.
Still gonna be a rough Cold Stare fight for sure. And Hitaka doing a Spike Cave check. We have not seen this yet. And it looks like Azder's also gonna head over to Ice Palace. Like you said, Azder being the former low percent record holder. And when I say low percent, reminder to everybody that about a year and a half ago, the low percent category changed to only be 3 hearts the entire run. So it's not quite the old low percent. So, this is a luxury for him. He's got 6 hearts. He's got blue mail. I mean, all sorts of things you wouldn't get in a low percent.
Yeah,
heck, you wouldn't even have bombos.
Yeah, I know. I caught him, just watching him do his world record attempts, and there's no way I'm even going to attempt a low percent with 3 hearts going through the whole game. Not happening.
And there's our bow. This is where Ed's like, the bow? No, you're wrong person.
Unless we get a vanilla bow here in Eastern Palace, he will probably just beeline straight to Ice Palace, get that bow that does unlock all of Pod. And no bow in Eastern. We're going to see that beeline straight towards it.
Yep. Azure will shortly get his bow as well. Yeah,
as much as we like to see the players try to diverge as much as possible in these info share co-ops, every so often we do see a situation like this where we do get bottlenecked into one
Yep.
spot.
That's right. And honestly, I like to see the Ice Palace bomb jump every once in a while. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love that Icebreaker is a thing. It's a great time save. Makes Ice Palace a much less bad dungeon. But even when I'm playing, every once in a while, it's just kind of refreshing to go back and just make sure you can still do that bomb jump.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing to practice because it does come up, and especially in this seed,
Oh, for
we
sure.
see it come up. Where Ice Palace bomb jump is required.
Well, it's never required, but it's
Well,
certainly better than doing it the intended way.
quote fingers required.
Yeah. And especially the hookshot situation, like hookshot lock is just almost meaningless with the Icebreaker, whereas with the Ice Palace bomb jump, that still comes into play. I did not see the location of the big key, so I actually did not catch whether this is in fact a hook locked situation.
Alright, still have one item here in Ice Palace.
And Azure and Hitaka going to be in the exact same situation pretty soon. Azure finding the bow and Hitaka being like, well, but I'm the one in Eastern.
Right. Hitaka maybe thinking about just saving and quitting. Yep, he's going to save and quit and beeline straight for that bow.
Yeah, I think that's, at this point, just go get your bow.
Knowing that there's really nothing left to check, it's pretty much the only call to make right now is that save and quit.
And mooglecharm, with the knowledge, knows that there are 3 small pots of magic there to pick up at the bottom of the Ice Palace. And he'll be able to basically be full up. It doesn't really make as big a difference here because the bombos he's got plenty for the bombos, and without a fire rod, having the extra magic, yeah, you could use. I guess you could equip the cane for extra protection, but it's not the same as if you have a fire rod that you want to shoot.
Yeah, we're gonna see the quick swap right over that hammer. Probably just gonna see the hammer right here. He does have 3 potions: a green, a blue, and I think a red, all available to him.
And this is a place that blue mail definitely is worth the pickup.
Yeah, he's now in 1 Oko mode. These puffs do 2 hearts of damage on blue mail.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't popped one of those potions.
Unless he's holding a fairy that we don't know about.
Well, they did. I don't think he's used the fairy that they picked up yet, but in the end, he doesn't need it. So
does get the kill.
And a mirror.
Oh wow.
Wow.
A stacked Ice Palace.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, we see that big key in Iced Tea, which does mean this is technically a hookshot locked dungeon. So again, not with that small key early, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a dungeon that's hookshot locked in reality. It's just logic.
Yeah.
The problem being with those 2 small key doors after the big key. Oh, and Azure taking a death. Oh, he's got a fairy. We're fine.
Yeah, I was anyway, worried there for a second too. I'm like, oh no.
But yeah, anyway, so with those 2 small key doors behind the big key, even with the readily available small key at the beginning, you can still use your keys in a bad way that keeps you out of either the right side or the bottom. And so it's still technically a logically hookshot lock, but it's always there's never a situation you can't break around that.
Yeah, this level of play, I mean, most players will break logic as much as possible, as far as they can, to get through it the easiest way possible.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it quite that way. I like to think of it as just trying to do things more efficiently. Because a lot of people like to say that, in fact, Spyweaver in chat saying logic, what's that? No, see, that's not how it works. Like, if you're going to break logic, you absolutely need to keep track of what logic you've broken, because it tells you something, So the fact that this dungeon is hookshot locked means that were it a green pendant, you know the hookshot's not there. Were it a 5/6 crystal, you know the hookshot's not there. So it's just little things like that. You just, you want to keep track of the logic, even if you're breaking it. And we're going to get our first look at Tower of Terror on Moogle's side. Which makes sense, because you just got that mirror.
Yeah, which means we're going to see Hera at all of Death Mountain, Light, and Dark World side. We're going to get that Turtle Rock Medallion information. And no Hera pot glitch today. Don't have that hook shot.
Yeah, I suspect Ed will probably go back and do Pod Eastern with that bow. And probably we'll see a similar split up between azder and Hitaka.
That would be my guess as well. Although, as viewers and commentators, we know that Pod Eastern's not going to have any progression at all. It's all going to be up on the mountain.
Yeah, that's true. And Hitaka didn't get quite all the way through Eastern. Azder's going to head right over to Pod.
Yeah.
And probably do Eastern right afterwards, which is nice because now with that mirror he can do that. Just get them taken care of, if nothing else, and see if there's anything important either on the Armos Knights or on Helmasaur.
So, looking at Azder and Hitaka's side, for efficiency's sake, I would have if I was them, I would have sent Azder up to the mountain, knowing Hitaka does have that first 5-6 crystal to let him go do pod to possibly route that into that Pyramid Fairy check.
That's an interesting point. I think maybe they chose to do it this way is because the Hera plays a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's
you send
quicker.
Hitaka. Yeah, so you send Hitaka, who's a little further behind in Ice Palace, to Hera, and you send azder to do Pod Eastern, who hasn't done any of that. Well, he did most of Pod, but did him finishing up that while Hitaka finishes up Ice Palace.
As Moogle finishing up Tower of Hera, relaying the information to Ed that just do this just before GT. There's nothing in there.
Yeah, always nice when you get to do that. And we'll get to see our East Death Mountain checks for the first time.
Alright, well, Moogle does these checks. Let's take a look at our pendants. What can and can't be on that pedestal today? Fire Rod can't be. I think the only thing that really can be is that Cane of Samaria and Ice Rod, and maybe a medallion.
Yeah, I don't worry. You know, it's funny though, because I just don't really worry about Ped in this situation nearly as much, because you know you're going to have to clear all 3 crystals, and then it's just a matter of do you want to check it or not. And it really just becomes another check. It's kind of the equivalent of the 5-6 crystal at this point, the Pyramid Fairy check. Okay, Ed last to pick up his bow. As you're finding nothing in Eastern, having done the rest of the stuff that Hitaka didn't do.
Fear Agent commenting in chat, you know, it's not what's on Ped, but what's in GT.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good point, because this is all dungeons, there could be progression for pendant dungeons in GT. And that's actually that's completely normal. There always can be progression for pendant dungeons in GT in any kind of seed. It's just that we don't care about them because we don't have to go do them. But in all dungeons, we do have to go do them. Okay, nice start in the cold stare fight for Hitaka. Gets those puffs in the corner for a little bit. Hard to keep him there with the Master Sword, though. He's going to switch over to the hammer now and do a combination of hammer and sword spins.
So, the masochist in me saying the only thing that we could find in GT that would be progression for a pendant would be the boots for Boots Lock Desert Palace.
Or we could just find boots there. Whether it's Boots Lock or not for Desert.
I mean, that's best case scenario, but worst case scenario is the boots in GT. But we'll come across that when we get there.
Yep. Okay, as you're getting a heart container, Hitaka getting his mirror.
Synced up crystal collections there.
Nice.
As Ed jumps into his cold stare fight, going to make relatively quick work of Cold Stare here.
As you're going to finish up pod, I suspect Hitaka will go up to the mountain.
Shovel in Paradox 2.
Hmm. Yep. Hitaka is thinking about, no, okay, gonna do pod Eastern. That surprises me. Maybe they figure out just far enough ahead that he just go get this done
And we have a Fire Rod in Paradox 5.
Nice. And boots.
And boots. Oh,
I didn't see him, but fortunately our trackers picked him up. Shout outs to Conan Tyrant and Rail and Tanker for doing the tracking,
Yes.
pushing those buttons behind the scenes and keeping us honest as always. Doing the hard work while we just get to talk.
Alright, so it's safe to say there's no progression in Ganon's Tower in this seat.
Yeah, it might be some luxury items, but yeah, no actual progression. At this point, what are we even looking for? We're looking for a hook shot. We're looking for Canis Samaria. Yeah.
And a Quake.
And right, because Quake is Meyer.
And looks like Ed took a death to Cold Stare after using both potions.
That's rough.
That's gonna set him back a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the longest dungeons in the game.
Yeah.
Probably Turtle Rock and Pod.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Yeah, he needs that mirror. It's a shame. If the mirror wasn't there, I would say just bail until you can come back with a Canis Samaria.
Yeah, it's like that's the next major progression item is that mirror. And he's kind of forced to stay here until he gets Cold Stare down.
And, I was, before this death, I was putting Moogle and Ed a little bit ahead. Moogle's definitely ahead of everybody. Whereas Hitaka and Azure are a little closer together. But now there's a bit of a spread between Moogle and Ed that is going to open the door a bit for Azure and Hitaka to catch up a bit.
Yeah, hopefully that death doesn't cost him too much. Can catch back up, but we may be in a situation where we have to pull out that clock calculator to determine who the winner is. And Ed doesn't have any bombs to kill these Armos Knights.
Yeah, and remember that this is based on average, so it's the average time calculated after all the runners are finished, and not who finishes first overall, like the second teammate to finish first, if that makes sense. Hitaka fortunately knows he can basically skip most of this dungeon.
Yeah. He's probably just going to get that key layout.
Yeah, as
they're told him.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. It must have been a little muscle memory, him throwing the bomb over to open that bomb area, because doesn't need to go there. He just needs to go straight to the back.
I admit I've done it myself a couple times
when
I'm just in go mode.
Yeah, muscle memory is a thing. Moogle, in the meantime, gonna do Thieves Town. I like this choice. He's gonna let Ed catch up a little bit. And Azur's gonna find nothing in Hera.
And Ed finally gets those Armos Knights killed after numerous sword spins.
Yeah, actually, you mean the Stalfos there? I didn't even know you could...
The Stalfos Knights.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could... Honestly, I didn't even know you could kill those without bombs, so I just learned something today. Yeah, two other runners in chat, Scary Olive and Fear Agent, also not knowing that, so I don't feel so bad not knowing that. So we all learned something today.
Yeah, so I'm sword slashing. I'm just like the back of my head. I'm like, is there another way to kill him I didn't know about? And apparently there is. So
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Or I was saying you can kill them with the boomerang. That I didn't know either.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Yeah, how many shots does it take? Like, I knew you could kill the actual Armos Knights with the boomerang.
I think it's 52 boomerang shots on the Armos Knights.
Oh, that sounds horrible. Those kind of things only coming up in Randomizer and yeah, only in Randomizer, I guess. I know it could come up in cross keys, or I should say cross world.
Yeah.
Because GT that wouldn't be for the Eastern Armos Knights, but could come up in the Ice Armos.
I personally have had to do it. Leoria in chat saying 48 boomerang shots each.
It's a lot of boomerang shots. Okay, Moogle gonna have a much easier time with blind with a lot more health and a blue male here. Hitaka gonna finish up his Helmosaur fight.
In a very sketchy situation, pinned up against the wall there with Helmosaur King, but does get the kill.
He might still have that fairy too, so.
mooglecharm, perfect script fight on blind, and as they're finishing up Tower of Hera, so 3 dungeon completions at the exact same time.
And Ed went and grabbed some of those fairies for extra protection there. Looks like he might grab some more. Making use of that often very unused bug net. I guess we didn't see all the items in Tower of Hera from Moogle because Azder's going down to the basement.
I know one of them was a 300 in the big chest on the top. Not sure. Unless he's miscounting items. We know he doesn't use a tracker.
Well, even with the tracker, it's very easy to miscount your items.
That's also true.
In a dungeon. And especially since, I mean, not that any of these, I don't think any of these guys are using an auto tracker, but the auto trackers don't track dungeon items. That is not actually allowed.
Yeah, it's one of the features of auto tracking that is banned in, as far as I know, every community racing event and pretty much everything. Just items is all you're allowed to track.
And it was an item. It wasn't a good item, but it was an item.
Yeah, because we know Moogle finished it, didn't go to the basement, so they're making that gamble that nothing's there.
Yeah, and it's a good gamble. They don't know it. It could weigh on them if they get to a point where they're stuck. Okay, Ed on his second shot in the cold stair fight gets through just fine. As you're over doing Death Mountain checks. He'll also be able to tell Hitaka that just do Tower of Hera before GT.
Yep. Alright, and Ed finally getting cold stair down. A lot of time lost in that dungeon for double dippers there.
Well, I mean, living up to the name, double dipping Ice Palace, I guess.
Yeah. If only it was Key Sanity, their name would come true.
Oh god, that'd be triple dipples, quadruple dippers.
Oh, yeah.
Key Sanity does that. We'll see where Hitaka decides to go next. Unfortunately, Azure and Hitaka kind of in a rough spot right now. Hitaka's probably just going to have to... Well, I guess he could do some mirror checks. Maybe that's where... Yeah, he's heading over towards Dark World. So yeah, do some mirror checks. He could dip Swamp. Can't get all the way. But, you know, it's not like we've never seen a hook shot in Swamp Palace. You know, that is one of those things that does happen. And none of the stuff that Azure's going to find here is going to help with Swamp Palace. We did not find a hook shot. Well, the boots would help, but
yeah,
it would make it a little faster. Boots and the fire rod. So we'll see if Hitaka's going to go do the pyramid fairy check that you were talking about. I really like this. Hitaka could check this, and then I could see him going and getting that fire rod and getting those boots, and then they have things they can split up again. One going into say Skullwoods, the other one doing Swamp. Now Moogle's gonna go kill Mothula. Oh,
And
Moogle with a death on, and does he have a? He does have a. Yeah, everybody using their fairies today. Is that the third fairy? I think we've seen 3 runners get fairy
Yeah.
revived today.
We'll see at the end stats who all used fairies this
Yeah, we sure will.
game. And gets mocked down with the hammer strats, gets the big key. Not sure what items we found in there. I wasn't really paying attention to his routing through Skullwoods.
Yeah, Azure was checking Skullwoods early, and I don't recall him getting much of anything in there. Azure's going to at least check the first chest. Azure passable hover. Probably not going to spend too much trying for it since it's not one of those things he's proficient at. But he might take it, at least give it the good old college try here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just going to give it one shot, and then if it doesn't happen, that can waste a lot of time if you push it too much.
We're gonna see Azder just open up Turtle Rock. Obviously, we can't go in there without the cane, but definitely gonna open it up.
Yeah, it's good to open it up now. That you don't have to worry about which part of the Dark World you go into to get up here later. Hitaka picks up his mushroom. Probably gonna skip right by Tower of Hera, do it later, and get his fire rod and boots. And then they'll have to decide how to split up the next area. Ed doing the same thing, picking up his fire rod and boots.
Yeah. So what do we have open to us? Desert Palace is now open to us with that mirror from Ice Palace.
And Swamp.
And yeah, Swamp, like you'd mentioned, the hookshot maybe being in there would be a gross location.
Oh, it's the worst. Maybe not the worst, but it's definitely up there.
K45 is a one-off. They've passed by
Graveyard,
it a couple times now.
Graveyard. Well,
Graveyard
and
Ledge.
you might see some. Moogle's doing this right now, doing the North Dark World checks because none of them have checked the boots checks. You can pair those in nicely with Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, and it's 3 quick checks all right there next to Sank. So, Ed's still playing some catch up. Probably gonna do the Pod and Eastern play now.
Yep. Yeah, let's see if Azure heads over towards K45, heads over towards Swamp Palace, or he might do both. Go do one and then do the other. We're gonna get a new check on Moogle's side with this Graveyard Ledge here, and just arrows.
I'd be reluctant to go into Swamp Palace right now, knowing you have Desert Palace that actually has 3 checks instead of 2 because that green pen didn't turn in. As well as Checkerboard Cave. Like,
I would send 1 runner to each.
Yeah.
I mean, this is co-op for a reason, and there's that Quake medallion at K45, so that's one more piece of the puzzle.
All right, so we can now dip into Mire. Again, the same situation with the hookshot and Swamp Palace, but Kane being in Misery Mire is just one of those.
It's actually, I would say, even worse because there's only 2 actual items in Misery Mire.
Yeah.
And you might not even get both of them. The one difference is if the big key is in a really bad spot, then it's not so bad to be dipping that Misery Mire ahead of time because you're gonna full clear it anyway for the big key. But if the big key is in a really nice spot, which tends to happen when you don't have the cane, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Randomizer just likes to get you. But yeah, I think Azure's going to go ahead and just do Desert first, and that makes a lot of sense. Not going to grab those 20 rupees sitting there on the ledge. Hitaka, meanwhile, is going to do Skullwoods.
Yeah, looking at it, mooglecharm of the 4 is probably ahead of everyone. Then again, he's literally just leading Ed through the seat at this point. So definitely at that disadvantage of Shaq Tool of him pretty much playing this seed by himself right now. It's kind of a feels bad moment for their team right now.
Because the way the progression has gone, it's really hard to set Ed into some of these other places without having done some of these things. Although Moogle still also has to do Eastern and Pod. So at this point, I feel like even though Moogle is probably the furthest ahead, I feel like the overall sync between Azure and Hitaka is going to serve them well and serve them a little bit better.
And
but we still have a lot.
Catfish has our sword.
Might not get that for, well, Ed'll get that. Well, may not get that on the right side, but we'll see.
Yeah, if we don't see them head over to that catfish area, since they did the big bomb check, knowing that there was nothing in there, I'm gonna suspect they don't head over to that area. That tempered sword that could actually come in big, come late game in Turtle Rock and GT.
Or you could get a sword in desert and it won't matter.
Yeah, that too.
So yeah, they won't have a gold sword, but the difference between gold and tempered at this level is very, very minimal.
Alright, well, we know double dippers will have that gold sword.
But it does, interestingly enough, mean that they all could have had tempered sword for cold stairs. So.
And there's a book on Lake Hylia Island. Oh.
Oh, gross.
That is not what we wanted to see. That does... Like, it's not so bad with Bombo's tablet being right next to Swamp Palace. You can check it before or after. It's that Ether tablet that is so isolated right now.
No, I mean, it's not as isolated with Hookshot Cave unexplored, mostly unexplored. It's not as bad as it could be, but yeah, it's definitely pretty isolated. Okay, Hitaka finishing up Skull Woods. See where he heads next. Looks like, let's see, flute to 7. This could be the swamp play, although usually you flute to 4 for swamp, but I know I've often messed that up, so. It's not that big. It's not that big a time difference, to be perfectly honest, but it is definitely faster to flute 4.
Yeah. Alright, Moogle's going to pick up his Quake Medallion here.
Okay, Azure gets a compass on Lanmo and gets his green pendant. Hitaka ends up floating away. Let's see. I'm not sure what he's going to do right now. I'll see if Azure turns his green pendant right in.
Alright, I apologize for the dogs. The wind blows and they bark.
Yeah, it happens.
Luckily I have that mute button keybound. Alright, back to the race though. As they're checking this checkerboard cave, a new check, one of those one-offs next to Meyer and Desert.
And nothing. Okay, not gonna do Meyer right now. Not really surprised, no Kana Samaria. But at some point, we're probably gonna have to see some dips into Swamp or Meyer. It could be the really evil setup, which would be one of them as Hookshot, and they have them flipped, like Hookshot and Meyer and Samaria and Samaria.
Double dip on one of them, yeah.
Well, we got the right team name for it.
Yeah.
Those double dippers, you know. We'll blame them if that happens. Azure hasn't done Thieves Town, so looks like he's going to go ahead and just do that now. And again, not really a great go mode dungeon, but he will be able to do it pretty quick. Just pick up the big key and just go. Actually, he might. I think he was in here early. He might actually have it. I don't remember. No, he wasn't already in here. He's just going to go pick it up. Moogle also finding the nothing that is Checkerboard Cave today. Taka doing the North Dark World. Well, the North Dark World checks with the boots checks.
John Boy in chat mentioning we're probably going to see Azder do Thieves Town into Skullwoods. This does open up that pedestal, so he could just finish Skullwoods, mirror, whole pedestal.
That's actually a really good point. Not a bad idea either. Just get that Thieves Town done first since you're in the area. And we'll see if they send Hitaka into Mire or Swamp. I would expect Hitaka probably goes ahead, does Desert. It's a pretty quick dungeon. They know you can get a sword out of it, which is nice.
Yeah, it'll make the rest of the dungeons fairly quick for him, knowing that they have that temperate available.
And Hitaka might check Catfish while he's at it, because that's what led Moogle over there. So he might actually get a sword before that. Yeah, and Oro making a very good point about Ped. It's not a gamble in Alta. They have to do all the pendant dungeons anyway, but it is definitely a routing decision. And you know the convenience of Skullwoods being that last pendant just makes it very easy to route that in. Yeah, we are going to see the catfish check from Hitaka, so he might choose to he may choose to skip the tempered sword, what will be for him a gold sword in Desert Palace. Because it is pretty far out of the way.
Yeah, it is on that right side with the big key and just on the torch there. You may see him just get that big key and go straight to Lanmolas.
Like I said, you know, people talk about how much a difference a gold sword versus a tempered sword makes. And it really depends on your level of play. When you're in the Invitational League, it's not going to make a huge difference. If a player like me, yeah, I go pick up that gold sword because it will make a difference for me. But yeah, these runners, they don't need it.
Yeah, I've learned to just accept that tempered sword in some situations is just better than the gold sword. Even though
I don't think it's ever better. I mean, I know there's lag issues, but even at that, those lag issues just are pretty small. But you know, if it's one of those things you're going way out of your way to catfish or way out of your way to the right side of desert, then the time that gold sword saves for a top runner is just not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the time save would mostly be on the Trinex fight, since we've already done Cold Stare.
Yeah, Trinex and Ganon. That's
for these guys. Yeah, and for these guys, the Ganon time save isn't there, because they should be able to do pretty quick work with the Tempered Sword.
All right, and that is the third pendant for mooglecharm.
Hitaka about to get his book. Okay, as you're not going to go do Skullwoods, I guess. Okay. Maybe he is going to do the Hera play now? Not the Hera, the Meyer play. Yeah, he's going to do the Meyer play. And it looks like Hitaka's going to do Swamp. I like this split here. And Azur's going to get hit by that bird, because this is the Quake Medallion. It does not kill it.
Yep.
Oh, he does manage to avoid it. That's good. And Moogle and Azure hitting Meyer at the same time. Azure, now I would say, has actually moved a little bit ahead of Moogle with those 6 dungeons down, and Moogle only with 5.
Yeah, having that Eastern Palace done, that one dungeon, that's a solid 90-second lead that he has on him, just with the Eastern Palace completion.
And Hitaka just going to use the book to enter Desert Palace. And that makes sense, because he's going to go do Desert. Maybe he gets the other sword, maybe he doesn't. Oh, look, a Canis Samario.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Don't have a big key yet. It'll be interesting to see if they get a big key, if they just skip the other item.
Alright, so we're just going to call it now Hookshot and Swamp Palace.
There you go.
Do we just want to say it now? The Hookshot's probably going to be
Swamp
Palace.
Sure, yeah, Hookshot and Swamp Palace, everybody. You heard it here. I don't know. It certainly could happen. It could be here. I mean, it could be the other item in Meyer. That would be absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that would put us in go mode.
It would. Well, nope. We still need an Ice Rod.
Oh, ooh, Ice Rod Hunt. No, thank you.
Yeah, the lovely Ice Rod Hunt. But thankfully, so in all dungeons, you know, I keep talking about how things don't matter as much in all dungeons. But honestly, I'd rather have TR at Crystal in an all dungeon situation if I'm looking for an Ice Rod, because it just eliminates GT as a possibility.
Alright, and while we're in Meyer, we want to mention that one of the glitches is spooky action glitch. Ed using the lamp there on the torch room cannot perform that glitch anymore, deactivating that glitch.
No, there are ways to do it.
It requires like the Canis Samaria throwing it off the cliff.
Yep. You'll see Azure most likely do the Canis Samaria version. Azure well versed in the all dungeons run. Although that's the old version. I don't know. Apparently, there's a new version of that now that I have not seen yet. But
there's always
it is a little It is a slower version It doesn't save quite as much time as the version you were talking about. And the cutscene big key.
Oh.
That's always gross.
Was there a small key in the first torch chest?
Good question. Yeah, because that
there's
guaranteed.
a small key there, yeah.
You know, I bet there was, because runners will usually not check that until last, unless there's a small key there. Because if there's a small key in the compass chest, then the big key will be in the cutscene.
One of the few dungeons I know the key logic for.
And there's the cape. There's our second item. So, quick. That actually, I mean, all things considered, that's a pretty quick Misery Mire.
Yeah, I mean, two unique items in Mire is so rare.
And for a Misery Mire that they entered not even thinking they'd be able to full clear it, that's pretty darn nice.
Alright, at least we can say we're going to see cape strats on Vitreous more than likely. It's much faster than, well, if we had silvers, we'd be doing that, obviously. But cape strats with the dashing is just going to be a very fast fight.
Oh, there's lots. So you see that there it is, as you're throwing the block into the void, setting up the spooky action.
The roughly second and a half slower version.
And it looks like Moogle doesn't know that trick, so he's going to skip it. And we'll see what Hitaka does. He might, looks like he might just go into Swamp Palace and find that hook shot.
Yeah, it looks like he's like, you found that there. Let's go
find
the hook shot.
They've already done Ice Palace, so the icebreaker is not a big deal there. They've already, they don't really want to go into Turtle Rock without an ice rod. Hitaka knows that when he goes to Mire, the cane will be sitting there. So the only thing he's going to lose here is the ability to do the diver down tricks. But diver down is not the same time save as icebreaker. It just isn't. Also going to check this Bombos tablet to see if there's anything here.
Yeah, what is, someone did the math, I think it's like 28 seconds time saved with spooky action. It's not something like it's like 27 or 28 seconds. It is a large chunk of time saved.
And Moogle and Azure entering the Vidi fight at the same time. Moogle with the advantage of having that gold sword.
Going with the NMG strats. Azure cape strats. Runs out of magic though.
Yeah, he'll finish this off with the arrows. He's got plenty of them. Moogle going a little bit faster because of that gold sword. So, gold sword making a small difference there.
Yeah.
And just getting a compass for their troubles. And we're going to get that green pendant turned in by Ed. So we'll see if there's anything here. Just a cart container. Hitaka going to go ahead and get his Quake medallion because he hasn't picked that up yet. And so now we've got the conundrum of Swamp Palace versus Turtle Rock. Because now we have a cane and we can do TR, so we'll see. Like, I guess if I were Shack Tools, okay, no, Hitaka's just gonna go do Mire. It looks like I might have split them up, put Hitaka in Swamp Palace since he doesn't have the cane yet. Put Azure in Turtle Rock and see what they find. But it looks like Azure's gonna do the Turtle Rock play, and Hitaka's gonna quickly grab his cane and do his do Mire. He may not pick up the cape. We'll see. Maybe he does, just because it makes it's a pretty quick pickup, and it does make the Vidi fight a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And it looks like Ed's going to be the one to go into Swamp Palace.
Doing the hookless swamp.
We knew someone had to. The rough thing about this is if the ice rod isn't here in Turtle Rock, and the hook shot is, or if we find the ice rod, or if Hitaka finds the ice rod while Azure's in Turtle Rock, and has anything to do with a mirror, he's not going to be able to save his portal.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to be that guy and say pedestal is still there.
Ped is still there.
Still
Ice
there.
rod is one of those things that can always be there.
Hookshot can also be there.
Hookshot can absolutely be there. And let's see if Azure remembers to go the correct way. He does not.
Not.
Azure, please.
and realizing it, and
Yeah, did not realize it in time. Even wasted all the magic. Oh, boy.
Alright, and Moogle checking Ether Tablet
For nothing.
for yeah.
So the book, just a big red herring.
So azder doesn't have enough magic. Or wait, does he? Yeah, he has barely enough magic to do this. I was looking at him just like, does he have enough?
Yeah, he's fine because he can get these last two in one shot.
Yeah, I was looking at him just like, does he have enough?
And
Really
Turtle
close
Rock.
there.
And Turtle Rock is pretty generous with the magic drops, to be perfectly honest. It's kind of weird because Ice Palace is the one where you get to, the first one where magic really matters, and it even warns you about it on one of the hint tiles.
Yeah.
But there's plenty there. I mean, in a vanilla run, you got plenty of enemies dropping magic, but in the randomizer, you don't. And so magic is pretty scarce there. But in Turtle Rock, like everywhere you might need magic, almost everywhere you might need magic, there's a big, there's a pot with a big magic in it.
Yeah. Remember correctly, Turtle Rock has 3 big magics and 4 small magics throughout the dungeon.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, Moogle checking his hookshot K. Let's see if he wants to try and do any hovering. Don't know if he's a hoverer. He is not. I don't know whether that means he's not a hoverer or he just doesn't want to go for it. I don't know. Like, the biggest thing they're missing right now, I mean, Ice Rod could be there, but other than that, the other thing you're missing is the hookshot. And the hookshot's not going to be there. And there's the hookshot. It's in Turtle Rock. Well, there you go. So this actually works out well for azder and Hitaka. Azder probably going to go all the way down and finish off as much of Turtle Rock as he can. He's not going to be able to save the portal because probably going to take the hookshot straight over to Swamp Palace. Hitaka, on the other hand, can just grab that hookshot and take it back to Swamp Palace right away.
Yeah.
Because he'll know by then whether or not there's an ice rod waiting for him.
Now let's see if we find the ice rod in Swamp Palace in the front half.
I know, gosh, if that happens, that'd be hilarious. Ed, unfortunately, I haven't really been paying attention to what Ed's gotten, but our trackers are on it. Rail and Tanker and Kono Tyron, so we would see that ice rod lit up by now if he'd found it. He does get a big key, which is always fun. Nice, gets to backtrack to check that after he checks the other side here.
Yep.
And
when Moogle finds that hookshot there in Chain Chomp Room, Ed's not going to be feeling good.
Nope, not at all. We've seen a bit of that with double dippers this race. And just rupees. And Ed selects the mirror, but I don't think he really. It's not. I'm pretty certain it's still quicker to walk back to the big chest. Rather than mirror to the front and go back in. So hopefully he doesn't. I always worry about that mirror. You know, I never like to have that on hand unless I'm going to use it because I have on more than one occasion hit that button and oops, I'm at the beginning of the dungeon when I don't want to be. Okay, azder meanwhile doing Mimic Cave. Gets a bottle with a B. Not very useful. Is that all 4 bottles for us? I think it is.
I think it is too.
I don't know if anybody has all 4 of them, but I think between the runners, we've seen all 4 bottles.
All right, and mooglecharm getting that hookshot. He's gonna go check hookshot cave right now.
Yeah, it's a pretty good choice actually.
So this could pay off big if Ice Rod is in here for mooglecharm. It means he'll have to do essentially 1 less clear of Turtle Rock compared to azder.
Yeah, if it isn't here, it's... Oh, and it is.
There it is.
Interesting. If azder actually literally just played a seed where this happened, where the ice rod was sitting there in Hookshot Cave. And so what he did is he did save the portal and went back up, grabbed it, and got back out. So we'll see if he thinks to do that here, if he remembers that seed.
And mooglecharm is actually the first in go mode with the 1:12:59 actually.
Well, his team's in go mode because now Ed knows where everything is. And Hitaka going to follow azder up to Turtle Rock. I still put Shack Tools Digging Game in the lead here.
Yeah, they're in the lead, not by much though. That
it's
ice
going to
rod.
depend. Yeah, it really depends on how quickly they get to that Well, the real issue is that Ed has got all those dungeons still to do. And they're not that far, and neither Azure nor Hitaka is particularly behind where Moogle is. And Azure going to leave, going to save that mirror portal. Hopefully he heads up to Hookshot Cave.
And as they're taking that safety door,
no, it's not a safety door. He's gonna mirror here, and he's gonna try and get that hook shot.
That's right.
Or if he goes to Hookshot Cave, he will be very happy. And it looks like that is exactly where he's headed. And that'll put Shacktool's Dig Game into go mode. And if he can get that get that ice rod before Hitaka gets his, actually it doesn't even matter at this point, because Hitaka is going to leave without that hook. Going to grab that hook shot and leave regardless.
Duke Firebird saying in chat that Azder's going to be he's going to lose that portal because
no, he's not. He's not. Because he's gonna go in here. He's gonna grab the ice rod, and then he just has to kill himself.
That's right. He's gonna go up to the Lionels, get himself killed. Yep. Okay.
He's fine.
And yep. And
I literally, I kid you not,
that, yeah.
I literally saw this exact setup for Azder in an SMZ3, like Sunday. So he knows exactly what to do.
Okay.
Oh, I think, yeah, okay. So yeah, none of the runners have done Aga 1. That would make a difference. If Aga 1 had already been killed, then no, it doesn't work. That is absolutely true.
So yeah, he's going to die. He's going to, save and quit, and then just flute back up to the mountain and take that portal. I guess you have to save and continue, actually, not quit, because then you lose the portal that way.
Yep. Oh,
oh, he doesn't have the old man save point.
I forgot the old man. That's hilarious. Thankfully, with a flute, that doesn't matter. So meanwhile, Hitaka's going to go get his hook shot, and he will just mirror out and do what Moogle did. So let's see, what dungeons does everybody have to do? So everybody has to do Swamp. Hitaka and Azure both had to finish TR. Azure also has to do Skullwoods. Moogle has to do Eastern and Pod. So, you know, I'm actually at this point with both teams in go mode, I'm actually putting a pretty significant lead to Azure and Hitaka here.
Yeah,
a lot fewer dungeons to do. Like Azure's got a really nice path to finish this off. To do Skullwood, Swamp Palace. Hitaka maybe even nicer because he's going to do Tower of Hera right before he does GP. And fortunately for everybody, they didn't have to do Aga 1 at all. So that'll be the very last thing they'll all do right before they get to Ganon. And one really nice benefit of that Aga 1 before Ganon is you get that nice free refill. I always found it weird that the one boss in Link to the Past that you beat and you don't get a refill is Aga 2. Like, you're about to get to the final boss and they don't give you a refill. Yeah. Well, with this setup, they'll get that nice refill. Moogle gonna make very quick work of Trinex with that gold sword.
Yeah, we'll get just the 1 cycle on there.
And this is probably, this and Cold Stare, I think, is where the gold sword just shines the most.
Yes, the Cold Stare fight's insanely fast. You just get him trapped in the corner, 3 slashes, and he's done for. And as they're going for the quick kill, does miss the quick kill, unfortunately.
But still fairly quick.
It's still very fast, yeah. Yeah, with Tempered Sword, it's almost frame perfect to get the quick kill with Tempered Sword.
Well, it's actually the same. You just got to get that double spin in either case. As you're missing the double spin, it's the beginning that makes the big difference. Where you just do ice 3 shots, fire 3 shots, done, or 2/3 done. Hitaka gonna go ahead and finish up Turtle Rock right now. Azure has to decide what he's gonna do next in terms of Swamp. And Skullwoods. It doesn't matter at this point with the flute, the order you do these things in. Moogle going to go ahead and do his Eastern Pod cleanup. There are a few luxury items still out there that the runners could pick up. Powder is always a nice thing to pick up. Silver arrows, of course. Whether we see those may depend very much on, because there's not a whole lot left in Swamp that we haven't seen. Could depend on GT, how quickly we get that big key if we see any of those nice items.
Yeah, really Silvers is the big one at this point, but these
Oh,
runners...
for sure. Silvers is much bigger.
Yeah, I mean, these runners at this caliber definitely don't need it.
Oh, no, not at all.
It's just nice to have. It saves you just...
I mean, the difference between a Silvers Ganon and I mean, it's you know, it's a good chunk of seconds. And so you're not going to turn them down if they're easy to pick up. Now, this will be a very quick Swamp Palace from azder. He might check the Diver Down chest just because they're right there. But that'll be in, and maybe the Waterfall chest. That'll be about it. He won't check anything else. Yeah. Leaving that poor Fire Shield sitting there in the water. I'm not sure anybody picked that up.
Yeah, and that's just, in that situation, you don't pick that up, and if he does check those, he happens to get the Mirror Shield and gets even more
shield,
lag,
you know, the Mirror Shield is, honestly, the Mirror Shield is a bit underrated. There's some nice things you can do with the Mimics in GT if you have that Mirror Shield. And then actually a bit of a time save. So, well, I would never blame anybody for not wanting to pick up shields. They do have their advantages.
Yeah, this late in the race is unfortunate to say that Ed's issues in Ice Palace much earlier hurt them a bit. But azder and Hitaka have had just a little better routing.
Yeah,
definitely more efficient.
Because Moogle was decently in the lead at one point, and you know, we kind of questioned the way Hitaka and azder were going through and doing Pod and Eastern, and it turned out that worked out really well because now, you know, like, you know, Moogle's still having to do Eastern, just finishing a Pod, and having to do Skullwoods, you know, so it worked out really well for azder and Hitaka. Okay, azder going to show us some Diver Down action. Going to use the AD strats here. It's a little bit different than those you see people doing this on the right side. Is going to check these, gets a map and a piece of heart. So yeah, Hitaka won't be checking those.
And just another heart piece there in the Waterfall chest.
Hitaka just needs to grab the small key from the back here. Doesn't care about the rest of Laser Bridge.
As we see over on Ed's side, he does take care of Moth there. Will probably end up working his way over to now up to Turtle Rock to get that hook shot.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing. Okay, and as you're going to finish up Argus pretty quickly here. Hitaka going to finish up Trinex. Moogle not quite at the Armos Knights, but he'll get there very shortly.
azder with just one dungeon left with Skullwood.
Yep.
Hitaka still a couple after he finishes Trinex here.
Yeah, Hitaka's got to do Swamp Palace, but Hera is almost nothing at this point for him.
Yeah.
Now I see people putting numbers in. I think we're not gonna get there until after azder does Skullwood, so hold off on those numbers.
Looks like someone started the game, but that's all right.
A little premature, but okay. After azder finishes up Mothula here, we will have 22 locations for that big key, so you got lots and lots and lots and lots of time to put those guesses in.
I'm gonna say probably a solid 3 or 4 minutes to get those guesses in.
Yep. I mean, theoretically, azder could have chosen to do GT before Skullwoods, but I think, honestly, that would be dumb.
Yeah. Especially, it would give him Yeah, it would make sense just to finish all the overworld dungeons
Yeah,
first
'cause-
before making that GT climb.
there are the only situation, honestly, in an AD run to do a pendant after GT is literally when the pendant progression is in GT, and we
Yeah.
will see that this week. I mean, this is I believe only the second race of the week in terms of the invitational, and I gather I'm going to guess the Open has had plenty of races as well going on. It will happen.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I believe you're right. This is the second race of the invitational. The Open, I want to say, has 8 or 9 already finished in the day that races have been started. Maybe a little less, but I know the Open schedule is very full.
Yeah, and shout outs to everybody that's participating in the league, both in the Invitational and in the Open. It's really cool that this has grown as much as it has. What is it? How many teams are in the Open this time? We have 32 in the Invitational and
54 in the Open.
54. That is so many teams. That is just so. Yeah, it's just a testament to this community and just how big and how good it's grown and just how much fun it is.
Yeah, that's 86 total teams in both the tournaments. You know, that's 256 players in this tournament.
Yeah,
that is a lot of players. That's
a lot.
Massive community participating in this event. Obviously, shout outs to Fear Agent, who is the one that runs this tournament the whole way.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot on his plate.
Yeah, I run stuff for Super Metro. Running tournaments is hard, and our tournaments are not as big. So big shout outs to Fear Agent for putting us all together.
Yeah, obviously has an amazing staff and admin crew to help him run this and support this. All right.
Oh, Rail and Tanker, correct. Apparently this is the third invitational race. There were two yesterday. That's right. Okay. Okay, so if you haven't gotten your guess in, you're running out of time.
You have about 30 seconds.
Because we're going to enter that GT, and we're going to start counting down. And we see mooglecharm. Let's see if he checks these chests as well. Moogle doing the more randomizer usual. This is a little bit slower to get the diver down. He does get it though. See if he checks the items as well.
Yep.
It's such a quick check there. There's no reason to skip them unless you literally have everything you could possibly want. Okay, and as you're about to enter GT, okay, let's stop that bot because we're about to start going here. And first check is a small key and some half magic. There's one of those nice luxury items.
Probably the second best luxury item in the game.
My favorite is still powder, but you know, that doesn't mean make it the best.
That's
just make it my favorite.
That's fair. That's
third
fair.
is bomb. Third is bombs. And Azure will typically go this full right, but sometimes he's actually pretty good at reading key layouts in GT, and so you might see him change things up a little bit sometimes. Let's see. Number 4 is bombs. Number 5 is a small key. Number 6 is rupees. 7 is a small key. Gonna keep on going, it looks like. mooglecharm, meanwhile, finishing Swamp Palace, so we'll join Azure in GT shortly. Hitaka, not that far behind Moogle, because he's just got to go do Tower Hera, and that's going to be quick for him. So that was at 8 rupees. Yep. Not going to lie, counting sometimes sucks.
I mean, I make the claim that I am like a musician, so I can only count to 4 and then 6 on a good day.
I'll say, what do you do when you get to 7-8 meter or something like that?
The brain turns off, so.
Okay, fair. So about to come up to number 9, and it is Silver Arrows.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. Okay, that's a really nice find there.
Yeah, everybody's gonna. Well, it depends. If the big key's on the right side, we might not see it on Double Dipper's side. If they do, like, say, Dark Magician or something. Okay, so that was 9, right?
Yes, we're coming up to 10 through 13.
All right. 10 is rupees. 11 is rupees. 12 is rupees. 13 is powder. Hey, we got all the luxuries in GT.
All right, all of the
Half
fun
magic,
luxuries
powder,
today.
silvers, everything you could possibly want. One-stop shopping. The bigger question is, if it is on the right side, does Hitaka just skip the silver arrows?
I'm gonna say at this point, for Double Dipper's sake, they kind of want to hope it is Ice Armos or Bob's Chest Tier number 14. That way they can at least get the silvers.
And a small key.
All right, that's all 4 small keys.
14. We'll also starting down the right. Bombs. Red boomerang. Red rupees. It's on the right side. Okay.
Alright, so Moogle's gonna get his silvers and half magic and powder. Nope, he's going full right.
He's gonna go right, so he's gonna get that big key first. Unless it's, well, no, tile room. If it's tile room, he's not. Because Azure will get to tile room faster. So
Yeah.
Moogle's might take the lead here a little bit. Won't have the advantage of the silvers or the half magic. Or no, he got the half magic.
Yeah.
So this is going to turn into a really close race between Azure and mooglecharm here. And those silvers, you know, those are going to make a difference. When in a race this close, as good as these players are, they will make a difference.
They will.
Unless, of course, it is tile room, in which case Moogle is still way behind. And it is tile room.
Oh wow, number.
Yeah, I do not see Moogle gambling on tile room.
Nope.
He's gonna go full right. He's gonna get all his luxuries, so at least there's that. But it puts him back behind again.
And
now, like I said, the better question though is knowing that it's tile room.
Hitaka's taking the lead.
Yeah.
He started tile room first.
Yeah, going straight to tile room. Hitaka probably skips the silver arrows. He's more than capable of doing silverless, and I think that's the right call for them.
I definitely agree with that one. I mean, with the silvers, his Azer's going to catch up and maybe pull ahead by about, what, 15, 20 seconds-ish?
Yep.
At the end.
Yeah, just really, the teamwork between Azure and Hitaka just has been so good. It's really, really been fun to watch that. I mean, to be fair, Ed and Moogle running a very good race, just Ed having some issues in Cold Stare and a few other.
Yeah.
You know, he also took, you know, no, he used the ferry. I got the Thieves Town, but he did manage. That was I think everybody used a ferry except Hitaka, so no shame there.
Yeah, I was talking with Azder last night while he was practicing some rando at 3 a.m. He actually had told me that co-op was probably going to be his weakest mode for this tournament, and it definitely didn't show. It didn't show any
No, it really didn't.
co-op at all. These two played amazing. Their routing was really solid.
And we will shout out Fantastico for winning the big key guessing game. Guessing first to guess 22. So well done, you tile room fans.
He got 22 points on the 20-second check.
Alright, Hitaka starting the gauntlet, Azure finishing the gauntlet.
up to the first refight of that Landmo 2. I guess it would be second refight because he did the Ice Armors.
Yeah, it looks like Azure wanted to use Fire Rod strats and realized that, you know what, I don't have the magic for this, and switched to his silvers.
So I'm not sure if anybody's noticed, but Azder doesn't use Quick Swap. While I was talking to him, he hates Quick Swap. He actually says that he turns it off in the settings before he downloads the seed. He can't get used to it, so he's menued this entire time.
Yeah, honestly, I'm honestly not a big fan of Quick Swap myself. I'm not going to say anything more than that. And actually, honestly, one of the reasons why I don't like it, honestly, is as a commentator, we don't get to see the runners' menus as often.
Yeah.
It makes our job and the tracker's job a little bit more difficult. But, you know, the community decided to do it, so, you know, it's not my call. I've tried to use it, not very good at it. But, you know, it doesn't surprise me because Azure is also runs the vanilla game, NMG, you know, all dungeons, the low percent. And I feel like those runners that don't just play rando are going to be better at menuing in general than the runners that don't play those other categories. And so, you know, they become really good at the menuing, and so Quick Swap just doesn't give him the same sort of advantage. Essentially, it'd be a new skill to learn for him.
Yeah. I didn't use Quick Swap for a long time, and I kind of forced myself to learn it. And it's very hard to learn. It's a very hard skill to learn, especially if you've never used it.
Yeah, at this point, Azure's skipping everything. He knows, like, the only thing he could want at this point is a sword. He knows where the other sword is, so there's, like, no reason to check anything. Hitaka is going to be doing the same.
Azder does take a fall to Moldorm too.
Oops. It happens. Hitaka having a little his own troubles there with Moldorm too. Only down to 2 hearts. He should be fine. Like I said, that's you know the difference. It really does highlight another difference with the all dungeons. I mean, although I'd not particularly love to go into the Aga 2 fight or even to get into Aga Tower with only a heart and a half. The fact is, he is going to get that refill. So, I mean, as long as he doesn't mess up the Aga 2 fight, he should be fine.
Yeah, one misalignment on a blue ball shot in Aga 2.
And he's still got his fairy, so, you know, let's make it 4 for 4.
He's fine.
Take a couple of hits, Hitaka. Let's make it 4 for 4. Everybody uses a fairy. You know? Meanwhile, Azure has Aga 2 down.
We'll see that quick the castle tower climb here.
Yep. Or maybe Hitaka will use it in Castle Tower.
That too, that's possible. And Hitaka making very quick work of Aga 2. I believe that was 1 less cycle than Azder on that fight.
Yeah, very nice. And Aga Tower, when you have all the luxuries, just doesn't take very long. You just silver arrow these guys, you know. Tempered sword, silver arrows, fire rod, everything you could possibly want. You don't have to worry about your resources. You're going to get a refill at the end.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to one-shot everything up this entire climb. We can take a quick look over at Ed there on the bottom left, doing the Harapot glitch.
Yeah, may as well.
Get to see it. I mean, it's quicker. It does miss it.
Oh, yeah, there's some issues with the way you kill enemies there that I don't fully understand that he may be resetting it for. It does allow him to skip the big key, though, so, you know, I could see why he's going for it. I mean, at this point, he's not seeing a dot done, so he wants to try and do this as fast as possible.
Yeah. does get the Herapod glitch.
And Ed falling to Moldorm. Yeah, Moldorm right now is just not having anything.
And Hitaka using that fairy. All 4 players have used their fairy this seed.
All right, 4 for 4 on the fairies. Not something you see every day.
No, not at all.
Most valuable player today, the fairy.
Yes.
Meanwhile, we see Moogle in the Aga 2 fight, Azure in the Aga 1 fight. And forgive me, I wasn't counting blue balls, but they will all get the same blue ball patterns on this Aga fight.
I honestly wasn't counting either.
So yeah.
I know he's on the second cycle.
So if anybody was counting in chat, or would like to count when Hitaka gets there.
Alright, so we had 1 blue ball just based off of second cycle and 3 energy balls on the second cycle.
Okay, and
4 blue balls, 1.
Yeah, it's possible. I honestly wasn't paying enough attention.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout outs to the tile that eddaump using. First time I've noticed it that it's bunny sprite is a key.
That's funny.
That's the fun part about the different sprites is just the bunny sprites finding out what they are. Meanwhile, Azure already into phase 2 of Ganon.
And quickly into phase 3.
Yep. And Hitaka finishing up his Aga 1 fight. So he'll go drop straight into the hole. Meanwhile, Moogle making his way up the tower, up 1 tower, and making his way up the other tower. That's a lot of Ganon warps. Those also will be the same for both players. Azure gets the early silver shot. Doesn't quite get the torch glitch, but who cares because he has silvers.
Set up for a triple here.
Doesn't quite get it, but he'll finish him off right here. And everybody get their GGs in chat for Azder as he crosses the bridge at 1:42:21 official racetime.gg time.
As we see Hitaka in phase 3 of the Ganon fight, the numerous amount of warps that we're going to see.
Yep, he's going to want to get that torch glitch. I don't know how much, I don't know if he has a magic bottle or anything like that, so... it's half magic's fine, not that big a deal, but definitely a pain if you don't get it for silverless. But you'll see the difference in time in terms of... there you go. Gets the torch glitch, no problem. And we'll see 12 sword spins here.
Looks like he did get that torch glitch.
Yeah, he got it.
Just a second.
Yep, he sure got it. You made sure. And not too many spins left. getting close here.
And actually does get that 2-pixel silverless hit without the spin.
Yeah, very, very nicely done. And Hitaka going to cross that bridge with a 1:44.15 racetime.gg. Let's go ahead and let Moogle finish, and then we'll see if we can bring these guys in while Ed finishes up as well.
Yeah, there's an average time for Shack Tools digging game of a 1:43.18 between the two.
Yep. And Moogle in phase 3. And we'll hold off on. We'll bring everybody, well, at least the first 3 in just a second. Moogle finish his Ganon fight here. His won't be long. He's got his silver arrows. Gets the early shot. Also doesn't get the torch glitch, but also we still don't care because he has silvers. One more shot and he'll be done.
And if gets across this 1x3 bridge, we'll be putting our GGs in chat for mooglecharm.
And Moogle finishing up with an official racetime.gg time of 1:45.48 GGs to mooglecharm. And I do believe we have some people in chat here. We have azder and Hitaka. We'll see if Moogle wants to join as well. GGs, guys.
Hey, thanks.
So your first race in the league, since you guys haven't put a team together before, how do you think it went?
It was a mess.
Hitaka?
Yeah, we kind of put ice off for too long. And
I was hoping to, I was scouting out stuff beforehand to try and get a chance to get Kane to get ice to be faster, and that didn't turn up. And then we ended up in a situation where, we would both have to do ice at the same time, which I think in retrospect, we should have done, but we decided not to at the time.
We also have mooglecharm here.
Hey,
how you doing? Yeah, GG's to you, Moogle.
GG.
GG.
Yeah, there was a bit unfortunate. For a long time, Moogle looked like you were in the lead of everybody. Unfortunately, Ed had a few issues with Cold Stare that kind of put you guys behind. And azder and Hitaka, with some really nice routing to also catch up to you. But how do you feel about this first race?
Oh, it was pretty awful for a co-op seed. I mean, it would have been really hard to not last locate that mirror.
Yeah.
I dipped pod first without the bow, obviously, right? And
Yep.
And then went right into ice because I was like, it's got to be there. I just kind of felt it, right? And just went in there, ended up getting that mirror, and I felt really good after that. But at that point, it kind of opened up so much to us that Ed was just kind of following me after that. And it just didn't feel good from there on. And I had a terrible Skullwoods getting wall mastered twice somehow. And yeah, I just from that point on, it just kind of felt like we needed to start making some plays. So yeah, in terms of routing, it was really tough, right? The logic chain was
well,
awful.
that Misery Mire.
Yeah, Cannon Mire.
We were speculating, at that point. Do you go to Mire? Do you go to Swamp, Hookless Swamp, or Caneless Mire? And then even the possibility that one was in the other, and then Cane in Swamp and Hook in Mire, or something silly like that. But But then you go into Myra's like your
Yeah.
second check, or was it the? Well, I don't remember which one you guys who checked
Well, we
what
were
first.
doing
but
that.
yeah,
I
it was
think
like-
I can't remember if. Yeah, I was in Mire while I think he was in Swamp. Maybe he went a little bit after me. I don't exactly.
Yeah,
remember,
I
but-
think you. Yeah, I
yeah, I
think
got
you're
that
right. I think you
cane.
guys did that. On Azure and Hitaka side, I know Azure went to Mire first, and Hitaka was doing something else. I don't remember what he was doing at the time. But Moogle and Azure were pretty much right on top of each other in the Mire, like right on Vidi at the same time and everything.
I was very insistent that we not do Mire and Swamp at the same time because I wanted to at least give us a chance to be correct and not not lose time on one or the other.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
Yeah, because
And Ash,
yeah. Sorry,
oh, go
Tracy,
ahead, go ahead, Hitaka. Go ahead,
Because
Hitaka.
unless it was that unlikely situation where it was like Kane in Mire and Hookshot in
Yeah.
Swamp, or opposite of that, then one of the people would be wasting their time on a fruitless endeavor.
Yeah, thinking
So-
back, we probably shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Did you guys? Can either of you guys hover? Were you able to get the ice rod early?
No, I can hover, but not very well, so it wasn't worth it for me to try.
Yeah, I think
Got
you
it.
made
Okay,
one
yeah,
attempt,
I
and that
got
was
that hook
it.
shot. Okay.
I was
I got the
already
hook
not
shot,
feeling.
immediately noped out.
Yeah, I probably should have done that, but I didn't, and then cause I wasn't expecting Hookshot to show up. I wasn't ready for it.
So Azure, how about that hook shot ice rod combination? Look a little familiar to you? Didn't we see that a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I got that in my ladder race yesterday for the season 4 kickoff.
Oh, was it ladder? Okay, I thought it was a. Oh, okay, it was the ladder. I know it was one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I got that yesterday in ladder, and it was also with the flippers on lumberjack with crystal, ice, and pendant swamp. So it was like I didn't need hookshot, and if hookshot was in swamp or something, then I didn't want to get it. So it was much more important there. But here it was like we know we need a hookshot for sure, so it wasn't nearly as worth it.
But still, it's just funny that exact the hook shot in TR to the ice rod in Hookshot Cave, that exact thing happened.
Yeah,
and you did. I'm like, oh, he knows how to do this because he just did this, and he'll save the mirror portal.
We were talking about that actually. Like I did the exact same like mirror portal save as I did yesterday, I think.
Yep.
But we were talking about it in the voice call, and I was just okay. I was like, okay, well, I tried to save my portal, so I need Hitaka to go to Swamp because I don't want to give him my portal yet. So I need him to like peace out right away and go to Swamp and let me do Hookshot Cave. And then it was in Hookshot Cave. He was just saying, weren't you just saying how unlikely this was?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah,
But,
I
like-
asked him if he hovered Hookshot Cave, and he said he tried and didn't do it. And I said, well, what if ice rides in there? and then he said it was pretty unlikely. So
Well, not only was it unlikely, but it was also unlikely to be super significant, even if Ice Road was in there, because we need a Hookshot anyway.
Yeah, I got that hook shot and I immediately left because I was like, well, I'm still pretty close to the front, and if Ice Rod is in there, I'm gonna feel terrible. If I get all the way to Laser Bridge. So
Yeah, you get all the way to Laser Bridge. It's no good way to mirror back out because you've already left to check mimics, you know. Or so it's just no. There's no good answer there. There just isn't.
I should have mirrored out right away, but I just didn't think of it in time. But it worked out somehow.
Looks like Ed making very nice work of Ganon with the Silverless. Yeah, that that was actually the other the GT Big Key where we thought Moogle was going to retake the lead there, and then turns out it was Tile Room. Because you guys were both on the right side at the same time, as you're having already full cleared the left side. So then of course it ends up being Tile Room. So then Azure picks up the Big Key in Tile Room, and you just had to go. I mean, have to, but I mean, who checks Tile Room before going back to the left side? You know?
Oh, that's crazy, actually.
yeah, and it's funny because we were talking about how trolly the seed was, and whether I should take a gamble on doing tile room first.
Mhm.
And then it was just like, nah, I can't. Like, I would feel so bad if I wasted time there and did that. And then, of course, I full clear the basement and find it in tile room. It was just awful.
Meanwhile, GG's to eddaump, finishing up with a 153.44. We'll see if he wants to join the conversation.
No, I forgot to stop my timer.
So I have 1 point about the tile room thing, and that I felt like it was not the right play to do it first, even in the co-op situation. But I was like thinking, I don't know what opinion they're gonna have on it, and that's what actually matters more. Like I think it's wrong to do in this case with average time, but if they don't think it's wrong, then they get a big advantage in this seed.
Sure. And we do have eddaump joining us. GG's. Can you hear us, Ed?
Okay, sorry, pushed the wrong button.
That's okay.
Yeah, GG.
GG's too. Okay, well, we've been talking about the scene, and I assume you've probably been listening with the 10-minute delay thing going on, but what are your thoughts?
I just want to cry. I just, it was not a good seed for me. I mean, I ran out of bombs twice. Who runs out of bombs? I never run out of bombs. And the death to cold stare was horrible as well.
Yeah, that was rough. Now, you also, I don't think we've mentioned this. All 4 of you used your fairies at one point or another. So that was fun. Literally, all 4.
Mine was kind of intentional.
Yeah, that's fair, because yours was on the moth fight, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
The best was, so Hitaka's going up the tower, and he's got going up GT GT, and he's got a heart and a half. And I'm like, oh, I think he still has his fairy. Everybody else has used his fairy, so he's got to use his fairy too. And then he gets through GT, but he ends up using it in Castle Tower anyway. So everybody got a fairy. Everybody got to use it. Don't see that very often.
Oh, you lost it there?
Yeah, I got killed by a spear guy.
Oh my god!
Because I had no shields.
Oh yeah, because I was hogging all the shield knowledge.
Yep.
But yeah, any other thoughts from any of you before we wrap this up?
How about those Ganon teleports?
Yeah, there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
after a one blue ball Aga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this mode was really cool because I was able to scout out the key locations in Aga Tower and the number of blue balls, and let Hitaka know that was coming up. This mode's really hard though. I don't think I'm particularly good at it.
You two made a pretty good showing of this one, so congratulations! Your first win in the league, ever. So
that's true.
So definitely shout outs to that, showing that you belong in Invitational. Not that anyone's really surprised about that.
Yeah, thanks. Also, I'm glad Book wasn't anything because we both forgot to check it because we're so used to doing SMC3 where you dive in and check it instantly at the start of the seed. And then an hour in, I thought, hey, did you see Lake Island? And he said no, and I thought, huh. And then I went and checked it, and it was a book. I thought, oh, crap.
Yep.
That book was not easy to route in either. I mean, Moogle, he didn't go too far out of his way to get it, but it was just never a good time to grab that book.
There's never a good time to go to Lake Hylia Island, really. I mean, you just, and there's something there. It's like, okay, when am I going to go there? Because when you go to Ice Palace, you don't want to have to go all the way into the Dark World to go all the way back. And then when else are you ever in that area? So
yeah, the only good time really is if you're routing south, Dark World, and then up to Pod, and you can just swim instead of taking the Hammer Peg Bridge.
Yep, that's a good one.
I think you actually have to remember to get it instead of being like, oh, well, I saw the item. It means I must have it.
Yep. We've all done that. All right. We'll say again. Anything else anyone wants to add before we start wrapping this up? We do have quite a few more. We have quite a few more races coming up today. It looks like all being on Restream. So.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for putting us on the restream. Thanks for calming and for tracking and all that fun stuff. It was a blast.
Yeah, thank you, Moogle. Anyone else?
Yeah, again, thanks commentators, thanks trackers. This is always a lot of fun, and we enjoy it. And hopefully, we can keep this going for much longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. League's pretty fun. I'm glad to be part of the hype this time around instead of just ignoring it.
Alright, well, looks like we're probably going to be wrapping this up here. Go over the quick schedule for tonight. We do have 3 races tonight going on. At 9:10 p.m. we do have Team Kappa versus Sphere Affinity. Game 2 restreamed here on SpeedGaming Prime. Over on SpeedGaming 4 at 9, at the exact same time, we do have Tile Roomies versus Waffle House Drive-Thru. And then over on SpeedGaming 5 at 10:10 p.m. we have Never Do Chickens versus Team Hime. So
All right.
a lot of races tonight, 3 of the 6 channels. Go watch them all.
Yeah, get that multi-twitch going if you need to. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I'd like to thank WinFox for joining me, actually, for asking me to join him in the first place. So a lot of fun commenting with you again, WinFox. Hope we get to do it some more.
Yes.
Big shout outs to our trackers. You just can't give them enough credit. Kono, Tyron, and Rail and Tanker doing the hard work behind the scenes, pushing the buttons. Big thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting us, Fear Agent for running the league, and all of you in chat for showing up, and of course to our runners. If you're not already following them, I got beat to it. Go ahead and follow those runners. Go ahead and make sure you give them all a follow, give them some love, as well as my co-commentator and our trackers. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll let you close us out, WinFox.
Yeah, thanks everyone for checking here this first race of the day on SpeedGaming Prime. Shack Tool Digging Dame does get the win over Double Dippers. We will see everyone later this evening for the 3 races tonight. Have a great day, everyone.